All right, hey, shalom, shalom. Before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, Divine City Apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone. And salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect that is scattered throughout the four winds of the earth that believe wholeheartedly in the true doctrine that's being pushed throughout the four winds of the earth who are on open mercy and salvation during the time of Jacob's trouble, as well as when Yahweh Shah returns to the planet Earth. All right, check that out. I didn't even notice or even try, but it was just 11:44 when I started the video. Hey, so call Lord Yahweh outside for that. Um, what you see on the screen here is a scene. I forget which Bruce Lee movie this was. All right, but I remember this scene distinctly because I used it in the video I did years ago. Um, and I believe I might have even called it what I'm going to call this one, emotional content. All right, because in this scene, Bruce Lee was teaching his student to have emotional content. Okay, and we can apply this logic. Okay, or we should apply this logic in the truth because the scriptures speak about having emotional content. All right, especially when Yahweh Shai is dwelling within you. All right. If we want to learn about emotional content, all right, Yahweh Shah showed the most emotional content, all right, and he had power to shut everything down, all right, and he showed emotional content. He kept his composure and stuck to the mission, all right, and did the will of the Father, okay, and this is our Savior. This is our big bro. This is the man who is worthy to be worshipped, all right, most definitely. Okay, because he's the only one to walk the planet Earth perfectly, all right, in sinful flesh. Okay, so I'm gonna let this play, and then I'm gonna hit some scriptures. Um, and Lord will, this is edifying and exhorting, uh, as well as admonishing uh, to the hopeful elect out there, um, mainly to newer brothers, okay, um, and even some brothers that have been around, all right. Uh, there was a guy in Great Millstone years ago. I don't know what happened to him, but I know he was a part of the main camp in New York. Um, he went by the name of Makawana, all right, and he was a bro that bros that have been around. You know exactly, what I'm talking about. He was just an angry for no goddamn reason type brother. Like, it's like every time he spoke, what I'm saying, he's mad at the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? At least me, I've never seen him, what I'm saying, actually not cussing nobody out type shit. Um, and then he just, I don't know what happened, but he just disappeared. You know what I'm saying? Um, no longer teaching the word. I don't know what happened to him, but um, he never showed that emotional content that Yahweh Shai, once Yahweh Shai is within you and you're sure, all right, like the scriptures tell you, um, the foundation of the Lord is sure. All right. You really, I mean, there's times where you get, what I'm saying, you get emotional And you know what I'm saying, you get to getting on Jake's head. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, it's about edifying the elect of the body. All right, and no, you can't really. I mean, you can't edify while, you know what I'm saying, being angry and cussing people out. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, when the scriptures come out flowing, and you getting scriptures from here, from there, really, that's the Lord giving you the mouthpiece that your adversaries have can't um, gainsay nor resist. Now, if you cussing a motherfucker out, you know, you dumb, you know, if you all on that, you know, that type of shit, you really not, uh, you know, as they say, charming the serpent. You're not hypnotizing nobody because you coming in that rah 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 ass spirit when most of the time it's not even necessary. Okay, the word of the Most High, all right, is enough. When you let that word come out, you know what I'm saying? You hitting precepts, brothers is pulling precepts, you know what I'm saying? And you straight to the point hitting things. There's really nothing anybody can say or gainsay against it. I mean, look at vocab when he tries to go around to the camps, you know, and he's, you know, any of these Christians when they try to deal with, especially if they roll up on Great Millstone. Now these other Israelite groups, you know, they get into the shouting and, you know, because, you know, to me that shows a sign of not being seasoned in the scriptures. Okay, but when you deal with people, all you got to do is deal with them with the scriptures, and that's gonna shut them down. You know what I'm saying? Shut them down. All right, and control your emotions. Have emotional content. All right. The Most High opened your eyes to understand this, to see this. All right, and that's a that right there is a that right there alone. All right, should keep you humble and meek. You know, now if somebody, you know, come up and they on some, you know, they being a whole nigga, and you know what I'm saying, all right, man, you can go, and they don't want to leave, then okay, maybe then you could be justified in going there, you know. But for the most part, the Lord opens your mind up, all right. Yeah, if they can't get it, like the apostles be saying that their elders told them, saying that they got from their elder. If a nigga can't get it, we moving on. You know what I'm saying? The nigga he gonna learn when all hell break loose. You know. So, you know, let me stop rambling on and let's watch this clip, and then I have a few scriptures, you know, we can read, and Lord will. This is edifying to the hopeful elect. Right? Let's go.
Kick me. Kick me. What was that? An exhibition? We need emotional content. Try again. I said emotional content, not anger. Now try again. With me. That's it. How did it feel to you?
Let me think.
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. Do you understand? Never take your eyes off your opponent, even when you bow. That's it.
Hey, hey, Bruce Lee is a Jake, man. I don't. Bruce Lee is definitely an Israelite. All right, but as you saw in the scene, he told him to feel. All right, he told him to not focus on the finger, otherwise you're gonna miss the big picture. You're gonna miss all that heavenly glory. All right, and we can take that and apply it to when we're teaching this ministry. All right, this is bigger than us. It's bigger than what we got going on. It's bigger than, this is Yahweh Shai's program. All right. So again, man, this is emotional content. Now let's look that term up. Let's look that term up. Let me see. Let's see. What does the term emotional content mean? All right. Let's learn some things here. Let's see what AI is talking about. It says the term emotional content can mean feelings portrayed in media and communication, like in a movie or a story, or it can refer to the inherent feelings and energy that exists within a person or situation, and that's what it is. All right. The second one. All right. The inherent feelings and energy that exists within a person. Okay. As understood in context like martial arts, where it's the controlled powerful energy of being present and authentic. It can also describe the specific feelings within a larger emotion, as in the acceptance of tolerance, or it can refer to emotional marketing that creates connections through shared feelings. Let's read this one again, the one before that. It says, it can also describe the specific feelings within a larger emotion, as in the acceptance of tolerance. All right, being composed. All right, we have the truth. Okay, we have the knowledge. The Lord has given us the knowledge, man. Okay, so with much wisdom, all right, comes much grief. You gotta be tolerant a whole lot more dealing with Jake out there, because they don't know, and if they don't want to know, we moving on. Okay, it says examples. A story about a hero's journey can be said to have emotional content that evokes feeling or triumph or sadness. In human experience in martial arts, control emotion and energy, and that's what it's all about, man. If you've ever uh, grappled or been into a match, a sparring session or whatever, you don't fight with anger. All right. Soon as you fight with anger, you've already lost. You've already lost. I remember a couple years back at the dojo, um, this karate came in, little stocky dude, and he came in, and I was sparring with him. I was his first sparring partner, and we was kickboxing. It wasn't just boxing; we was kickboxing. And this dude, man, he came in and he was fighting like he was angry at me, and he ain't know me. You know what I'm saying? And me knowing the little bit that I knew, he was easy. You know, trying to hit me with all this might, swinging for the fences. You know, I pull from him and tagging. You know, body shot, pull, body shot. You know, dip on him, and he by the time he done threw 5, 6 punches, he's gassed out. So now I'm on him. I'm on him because he didn't compose himself. You know, and that's just you know uh, an example when you you know in combat. You know, you don't fight with anger. All right. If you can fight and control that anger and fight, you become that much more precise, and you tap into what they call the zone. You get into the zone. In the knowledge, it'll be into the spirit. You tap into the spirit now, right? Same thing if with combat or any sport. You know, basketball they call it the zone, and you could see that. You know, when you would see Mike go into them zones, Kobe go into them zones, they were emotionless when they were just making every shot, dunking on people. They lacked emotion. They was locked in, all right, feeding off the energy. You know, um, it says back in control of motion and energy. It says in the context of martial arts, exemplified by Bruce Lee's philosophy, emotional content is the authentic, powerful energy that flows when a person is fully present in the moment and connected to their feelings without being overwhelmed by them. Okay? Look, I didn't even know it was going to say that, being in the zone. All right, I didn't know this is my first time looking this up, man. No bullshit. Okay? It says it involves a balance of soft and hard, where you are not driven by anger or fear, but are instead able to perform at your highest level. Okay? And us being in the knowledge, we call that being in the spirit. All right? Us in the zone is being locked in the spirit. Okay? Well, that's pretty much that's all I wanted on that. All right, that said it all. So now let's hit these scriptures. Okay, the first one we're gonna get. Wow, what's this? Oh, I didn't even notice that was the Hebrew word. Cause we're gonna come back and we're gonna look that up in Proverbs, the fourth chapter. Um, first one we're gonna go to though is we're gonna go to Proverbs 15. I was already there. Why the hell I'm doing that? Proverbs 15 and 1. It says 1 and 2. It says, "A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger." All right. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. Let's look up that word foolishness. Okay, let's see what it says. Foolishness, folly, um, silliness, folly, foolishly. It says, see what this says. It says, from the root, look like that says a wall. That's small. I can't barely see that. Okay, here we go. Yeah, like it says a wall, which very frequently in the Proverbs as five, 5 and 23 different scriptures it gives you. It says impiety. Okay, let's look that word up. Impiety. Let's go to the Edamon online. Impiety. Wow. Wickedness, or directly from Latin, irre. Man, I need glasses. Ir, ir, irreverence, ungodliness. Okay, disloyalty, treason. Okay, so we got to be mindful. All right, when we out there with this word, man. Okay. Next scripture, we're gonna go to Philippians. Let's get the book of Philippians, the fourth chapter, verses 6 and 7. It says, well, I'm gonna start at 5. It says, "Let your moderation be known unto all men. The Lord is at hand." Now, when you look this word moderation up, all right, you get the word seeming suitable, equitable, fair, mild, gentle, patient. Okay, gentle, moderation, patient. Let's look. Let's see what this word is. Oh, that's upon, before. Let's go back. It's a combination word. To be like. So to be seeming, suitable, equitable. All right. Let's check this word out. Equitable. That's why the apostles always tell us. They've taught us. Look up your words. If you don't know what it means, look it up. You get a grander understanding of what it is you're reading. All right. Equitable, from French, equitable, from equity, see equity. All right, equity's right here. Uh, equit or equity, quality of being equal or fair, impartiality. All right, that which is equally right or just. Okay, so let's go back, finish reading this. Verse 5 again, it says, "Let your moderation be known unto all men." All right, let your equitable, uh, uh, equ- equitable, equ- equability, if that's even the word, all right, be known unto all men. You know, the Lord is at hand. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto the Most High. And the peace, this is the point, and the peace of the Most High, which passeth all understanding, all right. See, when the Lord is truly, remember what Yahweh Shah said, man. John 8, chapter and 32nd verse. He said, And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. All right. Yahweh shall also said, uh, in the man, let me get there. Said, in the world you shall have tribulation. Let me get there. Hope, hope. Blue letter pulls it up. Booyah. Water. It says, John 16:33. It says, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. So if you in Yahweh Shai truly, most of the time you want things peaceful. You know what I'm saying? All right. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. All right. So there it is. Okay. In Yahweh Shai, we got peace, man. Okay. So let's go back to Philippians 4:7 again. It says, and the peace of the Most High, all right, which passeth all understanding, which is Yahweh Shai, all right, shall keep your hearts and minds through Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. All right. Now let's go to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah 26. I'm gonna go straight to the point because I got quite a few I want to read. It says, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. All right, because he trusteth in thee. So what is Isaiah saying? Matter of fact, let's read verse. Let's read verse 1 and 2. It says, in that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will the Most High appoint for walls and bulwarks. Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation, which keepeth the truth, may enter in. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace. All right? Whose mind is stayed on thee. Okay, so the more you in the spirit, the Lord is going to keep you in perfect peace. Okay, let's look up that word stayed. Whose mind is stayed on thee. What verse did I click? Oh, I clicked 4. That ain't the verse I want. Okay. The word stayed, the Hebrew word is samak. All right? Samak. To lean, lay, rest, support, put, uphold, lean upon. To lean or lay upon, rest upon, lean against, to support, uphold, sustain, to support or brace oneself. I mean, self-explanatory. Um, it says down here in the Strong's definition, it says to prop, literally or figuratively, reflexively, to lean upon or take hold, bear up, establish, hold, lay, lean, lie, hard, put, rest, self-explanatory. So whose mind is stayed on the Lord, he shall keep him in what? Perfect peace. All right. Verse 3 again. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. Okay? Now let's go to the book of Romans. Romans the 15th chapter. So if you focus and your mind is stayed on Yahweh Shemi Awashai, you ain't gonna have no choice but to have emotional content. All right? Because you're gonna know everything that you encounter, everything that happens is of the Lord. If you in the spirit, all right, and you seeing all that heavenly, don't focus on what the hell is happening right in front of you. But like Bruce Lee said, you're gonna miss all the heavenly glory. You know what I'm saying? Um, Romans 15, 13, 15 and 13 and 14. It says, now the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, that ye may abound in hope through the power of the Holy Spirit. And I myself also am persuaded of you, my brethren, that ye also are excuse me, that ye also are full of goodness, filled with all knowledge, able also to admonish one another. Now, I looked this word goodness up. All right, we're gonna look it up again for the edification of the body. Uprightness, or the Greek word agathoso, agathosone, agathosone. Let me see if that's how you say it.
Strong's G19, agathosune, agathosune.
Agathosune, right? Which means uprightness of heart and life, goodness, kindness. Okay, down here in the Strong's definition, goodness, i.e., virtue or beneficence, goodness. All right, let's look this word up. Beneficence. I believe I looked it up. I can't remember exactly what it means. Okay, beneficence, quality of being beneficent, kind, or charitable, practice of doing good, kindness. All right, generosity, generous. Okay, we get the point. Okay, so back in Romans 15 and 14, and I myself also am persuaded of you, my brethren, that ye also are full of goodness, filled with all knowledge, able also to admonish one another. All right, you look up this word admonish here in the blue letter. Okay, when we out there on the street teaching, we're admonishing Jake. All right, to admonish, warn, exhort. Okay, to put in mind, i.e., by implication, to caution or reprove gently. Okay, because we got to remember, our people don't know they lost. You know what I'm saying? I like to use the example of Makawana when he was out there. He just haul off and just cuss you the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Your mother's gonna get raped, all this shit. Like who out the world, here you are with the Bible and you coming at them like that? You're like, man, what the hell? This is, you know, nah, you gotta charm Jake, okay? You gotta pipe to them. If they don't dance, they don't dance. But you don't just haul off and just bite their head off. You know what I'm saying? You gotta read the spirit. Be in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Have that emotional content. Don't focus on the finger. Otherwise, you'll miss all that heavenly glory. Oh man! All right, from here, let's go to Galatians 5. Galatians, the 5th chapter. We're gonna read 22 to the end of the chapter. And this is something the Christians use. You don't have the fruit of the Spirit. That's not the fruit of the Spirit. Hey, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, if you displaying, you know what I'm saying, not having that emotional content, you know what I'm saying, they some dudes that get hit with this. Like marijuana, definitely, you know. But this is Galatians 5:22. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are the Messiahs, Yahushais, have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. All right, and lust don't just mean a sexual lust. All right, you can have the lust to cuss somebody out. Okay, you can have the lust to do anything, man. But as it is written, and they that are the Messiahs, all right, they that are Yahushais have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. And that's, back 2008, 9, man, we used to cuss everybody out, man. You know what I'm saying? When we first got out, Lord put us out there on the front lines, we was a bunch of young lions, man. Anybody could have got it, but we were moving on faith, being parrots until the Lord really starts supping with us and sitting our ass down and putting us through things, going through things, and we really, you know what I'm saying, start catching that hell, losing women, losing families, you know, losing jobs, cars, and realize, damn, we really gotta do this. Yeah, yeah, okay. The Lord got a beautiful way of humbling you if you truly believe. All right, you will take that humbling and you will move forward. All right. Um, verse 24. And they that are the Messiahs or Yahushua have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory. And that's what I used to get, after seeing Makawana, damn near every time I was watching, like, man, what is he? It was kind of like you could sense that he was seeking some type of vainglory. You know, it says, let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. All right. So from that one, we're gonna go back to the book of Romans, Romans the 12th chapter, 18 through 21. It says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. That's the scriptures, right? It says, now, if ain't nobody did nothing to you, why not? Why aren't you living peaceably? You know? 19. Dear beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. Right? For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Emotional content. All right? Emotional content. Don't let evil overcome you, but you overcome the evil with your good. All right? Let's see if that word good is that same word as goodness that we looked up earlier. Yep, just shortened. Agathos. Same word, just shortened. Of good constitution or nature. Useful, salutary, salutary. All right, that's how you salutary. Good, pleasant, agreeable, joyful, happy, excellent, distinguished, upright, and honorable. Okay, self-explanatory. I believe that was it. Yep, that was it on that one. Got a couple more. We're gonna go to Ephesians. Let's go to Ephesians 4. We're gonna read 12 to 16, then we're gonna jump down. It says, for the perfecting of the saints. Matter of fact, let me see. Yeah, Ephesians 4 and 11. It says, and he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints. And that's what our duty is out there. Our job is to perfect the saints of the Most High by presenting the word to them that they may understand it. Okay? It says, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yahweh Shai, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Yahweh Shai, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love may grow up unto him, or may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Yahweh Shai, from whom the whole body, fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. All right, and that's what we're doing. All right, this is this is our duty, man. Okay, 29. Ephesians 4 and 29. We're gonna look up this word corrupt. It says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers." Right? So when you look up the word corrupt, the Greek word sapros, which means rotten, putrefied, corrupted by one and no longer fit for use, worn out, of poor quality, bad, unfit for use, worthless. So we definitely got to watch our tongues when we out there, man. You know, I mean, I'm speaking to myself too. I'm not just, I'm speaking for myself first and foremost. All right, emotional content. Okay, especially moving forward in these times that we're living in. People are on edge, man. You never know what a joke is going through out there on them streets. And you might just set him off. Um, Strong's definition: rotten, i.e., worthless. All right, literally or morally, bad or corrupt. So let's finish this out. Verse 30. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of the Most High, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. Okay, we got, and this is where we're striving to grow towards. We're striving to grow towards that uh, uh, example of Yahweh Shai, right? It was one time Yahweh Shai lost his cool, and that was when they were selling and ripping off Jake in the temple. All right, that's when Yahweh Shai he lost it. Okay? But that was the only time he lost it. Every time them wicked ass scribe and Pharisees rolled up on him and tried to catch him up in his words and ask him questions, he knew. You know, he knew him. He was like, man, I got you. You know, he kept his composure. He displayed the master class of emotional content. Um, Verse 31 again. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor. Let's look up that word clamor. Clamor, a crying, outcry, clamor. Uh, what's that word? Kroge or kroge in the Greek. An outcry, a notification, tumult, or grief, clamor, crying. Let's look it up in Edamon. See if we can get a little more clamor related to clamorous, a great outcry, loud or urgent demand. Okay, you know we be bringing out that scripture. A foolish woman is clamorous; she is simple and knoweth nothing. Right? Well, we can't be clamorous either. All right, we can't display clamor. Did I finish that? Nope. 31 again. It says, "Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, and be kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as the Most High, for Yahweh Shai's sake, hath forgiven you." See that? And I believe that's pretty much it. That's all I have. Um, I mean, I got more. I got Colossians 3 and 8. You know, let's get that one. Let's get that one. Colossians 3, 8. Colossians 3 and 8 said, "But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth." Right? you look up that word filthy communication, this is heavy. Foul speaking, low and obscene speech. Okay, because we out there to do what? Edify, right? That's what we out there to do. Um, Strong's definition: vile conversation, filthy communication. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna, leave it there. I don't even. I just, wanted to hit those scriptures and, Lord will edifying to the hopeful elect. But we gotta remember to have that emotional content. All right. Don't focus on the finger, otherwise you're gonna miss all that heavenly goodness out there. Right. Remember the big picture, what we out there for. If a nigga can't get it, we moving on. You know what I'm saying? Emotional content. Call halal, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Again, Lord will, this was edifying and exhorting and admonishing to the hopeful elect out there. And we on to the next video. Shalom.